guys, Chelsey Benzel here. Today I want to talk to you about Instagram, specifically how to grow your following and expand your reach beyond the people who are already following you so you can get in front of people out there who may not know who you are yet. This is a question that's come up quite a few times in the last week, whether it's posts in my Facebook group or even with my one-on-one clients. So I wanted to just pull all my information and share it with you, share what I see working on Instagram and what has been working for me specifically to grow my following over the last little while. I'm really excited to dive in, but first some quick introductions. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Chelsey Benzel. I am a business coach for coaches and online entrepreneurs who have something amazing to share with the world, but maybe just need a little bit of help getting their message out there in front of the right people. I'm also the host of the Soulpreneur Society, a private Facebook group for female entrepreneurs. So you can click the link in the description to come join us. I actually have some extra goodies after this Facebook Live to share with you over in the group. And yeah, I think that's it. As you're coming on, if you're watching live or watching the replay, drop a heart or just give this post, give this live a little bit of love, whether it's with a reaction or a comment or whatever. That's just going to help more people see this and get more out of their Instagram. Okay, so the 3 key ingredients to expanding your reach and growing your following on Instagram. Key ingredient number 1 is your overall grid and the aesthetic or the look and feel of your actual profile. So you want your pictures that you post to have a consistent aesthetic or a look so that when someone lands on your page, they're going to see right away what kinds of things you post and what your images are going to be like, and they can decide pretty much right away if they're going to want that to show up in their feed. You don't have much time on Instagram, really anywhere in the online world. People are scrolling, clicking around pretty quick here and there. So you want that first impression to be made right away. And to do that, it's a really good opportunity to think about who is your ideal client, who is your ideal follower on Instagram. What kinds of things are they going to want to see? What kind of colors do they like? Right down to the types of quotes or words that you might share on your images. It's a good opportunity to look at what they want, but of course, it's also your Instagram. It's your profile, and it's your place to shine and share a little bit about you. So don't be afraid. Like if you love pink and purple and sparkles, then make that your Instagram, and you're going to find the people who are going to resonate with you. The best way to map out your photos and your grid is to use a scheduling app so that you can map everything out and see how it's going to look all together. So there's 2 that I recommend. I personally use Later. If you go to later.com or just in the App Store or wherever, download the Later app. Or another one that I've used is called Preview. Both of them are going to allow you to pull in images that you might want to use, and then you can test it out in your grid and see how things are going to look so that you can intentionally design that look and feel of your Instagram posts. So that would be the thing you want to do here is be really intentional about what you're going to share. Make sure your images look good together. There's a consistent flow. Maybe there's lots of space between the images and the colors look good all together. Maybe you use the same filter on every photo. That's a good way to kind of bring everything all together. What you don't want to do is just post randomly without paying any attention to how things are all going to fit together. So most often this happens when you haven't posted in a while and you're like, oh my God, I gotta get something up there. So you just post whatever it is thinking better than nothing, right? And there is some truth to that you want to be visible and you want to show up, but This is where taking that time to be a bit more intentional, maybe at the beginning of the week, you carve out some time to plan your posts for the week ahead, and you know what they're going to look like, you know how they're going to fit together. Both the apps that I mentioned later and Preview are going to allow you to do that and to see it in advance. I will admit it does get a little bit addicting, and I probably spend more time planning out my grid than I do actually on Instagram, but it's a good way to really make sure that your brand message gets across visually in the images that you share on Instagram. Okay, so key ingredient number 2 are your captions. So like we just talked about, and everyone knows, Instagram is very visual. It's all about those photos and getting people in based on what you're sharing, what pictures you're sharing. But once you've attracted them to you, you want to make sure that those people actually want to stick around and engage with you, get to know you, share a little bit about them, and kind of create that community feel within your profile. Engagement is the name of the game. And just like I said at the beginning of this video, the more you comment and like and whatever on a Facebook post, you know, Facebook and Instagram are pretty much one and the same these days. The more that your post gets engagement, specifically comments, and I think there's something new around like the length of the comments. So if you can get real comments from people, your posts are going to be boosted up on the algorithm and get in front of more people. So a good way to do this in your captions is share stories, share a glimpse into your life, into what you've got going on, whether it's your personal life, your business, or whatever it is that your brand is based around. And then if you can turn it around and make it about them somehow, give them a reason to engage by including a call to action at the end, then you are golden. That call to action at the end it's often one of the things that gets missed, but we write this whole caption. We hope people are going to engage with it, but we never actually ask for it. We're very rarely do we do. So I really want to drive that one home. Don't be afraid to be super direct in your captions and say, double tap to like this photo, or ask them a specific question, or whatever it is. Just really tell them what you want out of that, out of them having read your post. So that would be the do for the key ingredient number 2, which is your captions, would be share stories, give a glimpse into your world, and include a call to action. You want to give them a reason to stick around and engage, and then help to get that post seen by more people. If you need some inspiration with what you can sort of shape your captions around, a few that you can think of are behind the scenes, like sharing a story, sharing something that's going on in your world. It can be inspirational, it can be funny, it can be educational, like a mini how-to post. But one thing I would say you don't want to do with your captions is try as much as you can not to come off super preachy. This happens a lot when people just share their tips or their strategies or their insight without really giving the background into why you're saying that. Like an example could be, there's a quote, "A year from now, you'll wish you started today." Okay, that's true and that's great, and I love the inspiration, but if someone that I follow and I feel connected to because I follow them and I see glimpses into their life here and there, but then they just throw this like wisdom at me, it almost doesn't land very well. It's like, you can't imagine, you can't expect that you are going to know what's best for every single person who sees your post. So for that example, a year from now, you wish you started today. Share a story. Like if that same post came with a caption around how a year prior, someone was feeling super unmotivated, but they did it anyway. And a year later, they're like miles ahead of where they were, blah, blah, blah. Like sharing that story and sharing that insight, it allows me to have so much more connection with that person, with that post. So that would be my don't for ingredient number 2 in your captions. Try to always share a story so you don't come off as preachy. And think about why people are scrolling in the first place. Like, more often than not, they're taking a break from their everyday life and they're scrolling through looking for some inspiration or some connection. And 9 times out of 10, people are always looking, or at least open to the concept, the idea that they are perfectly okay who they are and where they are in this moment. So that's always one that you can come back to, just to, add a little bit of feel good vibes to your Instagram captions. Key ingredient number 3, and I would say the most important one, is your hashtags. This one's a biggie. And it's not just about the hashtags you use, but it's how you use them. So this is what's going to determine how you get in front of the people who don't already follow you. And the more intentional you can be with your hashtags, the more reach you're going to have and the more people you're going to be able to attract back to your profile. So what you want to do is pick a number of hashtags. Now in 2018, you can use 30 hashtags on every post, in the caption or in the first comment of your post. And you want those captions or those hashtags to relate to your brand. You want them to be hashtags that the people you want to follow you are already engaging with or they're aware of, but you don't want ones that are already flooded with posts. You want to look for, especially when you're just starting out, a good range is anywhere from 10,000 to 1 or 200,000 posts per hashtag. So when you click into the hashtag, you can see how many posts are there. And you want ones that are like not overly used, because the name of the game here is showing up consistently on that hashtag page. Or if people are following that hashtag, they're getting to see your post over and over. So what you do want to do is use your groupings of hashtags consistently. You want your post to show up over and over on that page. So with every post you use, if you're using the same hashtags, you know that your posts are always going to show up within your chosen hashtags. If you're feeling super ambitious, you can choose multiple groupings of hashtags. So let's say you post about different themes. Maybe sometimes you post about food and other times you post about travel. So when you post about food, you use your hashtags that relate to food. When you post about travel, you use the grouping that relates to travel. So you know still, and maybe there's a bit of overlap within those two, there's some of them are the same, but you know then that you're being intentional and you're getting those types of posts out in front of people who are interested in that kind of topic. Personally, I just stick to one grouping at the moment. That's what I use. And later, the app that I use allows me to just add those right into every post with the click of a button. It's super easy. What you don't want to be doing with hashtags is just randomly posting hashtags just for the sake of it. Like maybe you post a quote and you choose something relating to the topic or the message that you're trying to get across, and you hashtag like love and quote of the day, pick of the day, whatever it might be. You don't want to just scatter your hashtags around, because your posts are then just going to be scattered and not as easily found and engaged with by the people you're trying to reach. But also, if you're using super common hashtags like the ones I mentioned, ones that have like hundreds of thousands to millions or more posts per hashtag, it seems like it's a good idea because those are super popular hashtags, but what happens is your post ends up there and just gets buried within seconds, and it's just not even worth it. So be intentional, be consistent with your hashtags, and it's all going to come together to expand your reach so that your posts are then showing up for people who you've already chosen. You know that your ideal follower follows such and such hashtags, and you are getting your posts out there visible in front of them. So to recap, the 3 key ingredients to growing your Instagram following are your grid, making sure your images are consistent, they flow, they fit together. There's a cohesive color scheme or a filter that you use over and over. Number 2 was your captions. So making sure that you're really engaging, you're coming off in a way that is really going to bring people in and feel like they want to engage with you, and that you're straight up asking with a call to action to say, leave a comment, drop an emoji, double tap to like this photo, whatever your call to action is. I would say always include a call to action in your caption. And number 3, your hashtags to help get your post out in front of more people. So as I said at the beginning, I have a little bit extra Instagram strategy to share with you, but I'm gonna actually pop on over to my Facebook group to dive in deeper into how you can use hashtags to use them a little bit more strategically to show up more up close and personal with the people that you want to engage and you want following you on your Instagram account. There's definitely some ways that you can take this even deeper. What I shared with you, these 3 tips or these 3 kind of categories, you could take this and run with it and have massive success with your Instagram. But if you are ready to take things to the next level, then come on over, join the Soulpreneur Society. The link is in the description of this video. I'm going to pop on live there in just a few minutes so you can check out that video. It'll be waiting for you over in the group. All right, it was so good to share this knowledge with you guys, and I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions or anything, just drop them in the comments below and I'll get back in touch with you. Yeah, and I'll see you over in the Soulpreneur Society. Okay, I hope you have an amazing day today, and I will talk to you soon.